Hello everyone and welcome to Race and Nexus, where the challenge steps up another level as we arrive at one of North America's true driver circuits. This is round 4 of the Apex This Tuesday night's Porsche Cup Championship as we're coming to you from the legendary Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. Alex Goldschmidt up in the Global Broadcast Centre with Steve Koenig alongside me, welcoming you all to the show. If ever there was a circuit that demanded absolute commitment in the Porsche Cup car, this is it. These famed 2.54 miles may not look intimidating on paper, but every lap is a roller coaster. Blind crests, dramatic elevation changes, lightning fast sweeps of direction, and that breathtaking downhill run through turns 11 and 12 onto the front straight makes it one of the most exhilarating laps in sim racing. And one where even the smallest mistake can cost seconds. The circuit just sits outside the town of Brazelton, 50 miles northeast of Atlanta, a community that has grown from a small railroad stop in the late 1800s to one of Georgia's motorsport destinations. Today, it's not only home to the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta circuit, but also to some of the biggest sports car events in North America, including the world-famous Petit Le Mans, making this a venue steeped in endurance racing history. For Apex This and their Porsche Cup field, though, it is all about adding another chapter of their own. It has already so far produced 3 fiercely competitive rounds at Nürburgring, VIR and Daytona. Now the fight heads to a circuit where confidence is rewarded, but overconfidence is punished. As we approach the end of the opening quarter of the season, every point now starts to matter. Momentum is starting to build for the championship leaders. And whilst those behind know a strong result tonight could completely reshape the standings before we head to Brands Hatch next week. With 4 drop scores still to come later in the season, nobody can afford to lose touch. But equally, nobody wants to throw away valuable points chasing one position too many. We're ready. And here we are in this wonderful Georgia circuit. And as Ray Charles always said, he's got Georgia on his mind. We've got Georgia on our mind, and the drivers have got a test ahead of them. There you see the format. 10-minute 4-lap qualifying for all drivers as we're coming to the end of time qualifying as we're set and ready for the 45-minute race. 45% fuel limitation, mandatory pit stop. But we have a 45-minute race with these wonderful 992.2 Cup cars. Steve, welcome in, buddy. Good to have you back once again. Road Atlanta, it needs no introduction.
It's going to be a great one, and as our drivers are lining up, this is going to be a night race and a standing start, which is going to confuse a lot of drivers. And let's take a look at who is where, as Corey Mitchell currently holds that top spot, and with Kenneth Ingersoll holding on to that second row.
Yeah, Justin Aitchison and Joao Gabriel ran out row number 2. Row 3, it is going to be John Monsalve and Kent Kruger. After that, when it comes to the top 8, it's Keegan Gehrig and Benson Tai. Rounding out the top 10, it's going to be Kenton Bandy and Aaron Sunday. Row 6, Christopher Lamb and Jake Harrigan. Row 7, we'll then head down to Sean Teeter and Ken Pepin. Row 8, it is going to be the light. Well, we're going to hear those idling plastic boxing engines aren't they? Harris Mealy and Tino Renee, drivers getting on flashes. It is going to be a night race, which is going to challenge everybody. But more to the point, it is going to be actually Michael Brock that starts from pole position. Can he convert to a 3rd race win of the series? We've got the likes of Lemke now coming onto the grid. Matt Mosby in the 35 starts from P3 ahead of Mia, Miller, Moss, Tyndall, Zhu, Bykov, Stin, Winslow, Corey Mitchell due to start 12th. As there's Matt Mosby, he lines up on the grid. John Monsalve yet to go on the grid himself as we are set and ready for what should be an exciting development. And this is how the Petit Le Mans IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship finale will always end up. Starts during the day, ends up finishing during the night.
And with everyone at the ready, released off the line, charging off into turn 1, into the dark. This is going to be an exciting time because some of the field already had to make a corner. But it is Michael Brook with a solid start. Matt Mosby holds on to second place as he tries to hold back Brian Limbrick at the moment.
Yeah, Lemke, the season 26 Going Pros champion, in third position, running in the stealth black colours, but Michael Brock trying to get a nerdy lead ahead of Matt Mosby. The gap has expanded to about 0.6 of a second as they now make their way through out of turn number 5 and heading into the double right-hander here at turn 6 and turn 7. Jesse Mia hoping that things are going to go his way a little bit more this season. They now will head over 150 miles an hour, close to 170 if you are on the slipstream. There's Matt Moss in 282, running P8 Going Pros, down Kevin Dew, qualified 8th. Derek Tyndall, who's qualified 7th. Kurt Moss has lost a couple of positions. Biggest loser at the moment is the 175 of Justin Aitchison. There's Derek Tyndall running in the number 42. Teammate 2, Brian Lynn in the Maximum Effort Motorsport Camp. And Kevin Dew, the man from St Kitts and Nevis, runs a little bit wide coming out of turn number 12. Into lap 2 we go, and there's an opportunity here. Kevin Dew trying to get through if he can on Derek Tyndall. He's going to the outside of turn 2, which becomes the inside of turn 3. Tyndall has to open up the steering. Oh, Stan Hammond with the background's gone off the circuit. The number 55 has dropped the ball. But, but there might have been just a big old drama. What's happened to Michael Brock? Oh, my goodness. And Matt Mosby, well, Brock is still in the lead. But look at this. Matt Mosby in the TWRS, number 35, is chasing down the defending Going Pros champion here.
And this is turning into an absolute race right at the front, but right down the order as well. Everyone trying to battle early on for positions, but it is cold out there. And the tyres are not quite up to temp right now. So everyone's just trying to keep it all in order, see what exactly they can do and where they can get the climb. I mean, this is always a difficult race and always a difficult part to look at. You have to try and keep your head cool and also not miss out your brake markers, especially for Michael Brook and Matt Mosby, who are now all over the back of one another. They've managed to break away from the rest of the field, but they are trading blows of who's got the fastest lap.
Yeah, a couple of other drivers that have hopefully got some speed in their respective Porsche Cup cars will be the likes of John Agadello and Chris Laum. Chris Laum has dropped down 5 positions. John Agadello now 31st with a minute and 0.48, but Mosby has got his fishing reel out, his cast, his bait, and is hoping that Michael Brock might take an accidental bite when he least expects it. Lemke in the number 41, we ride on board with Matt Mosby down, and then now on to Brian Lemke. So you can see speed at the top of the LCD pinnacle in kilometres an hour. So he's just gone past 100 miles an hour in 4th gear. I'll make that 130 miles an hour in 4th, as Lemke's really starting to open up the taps on this 4-litre plastic boxer engine. And he's getting closer and closer to about 265 as they have to go hard on the brakes into turn 10A. Up the hill through turn 10B. Lemke is the fastest one out there, and he's 4/1000 shy of doing 1:20 as Kevin Dew got through on the pair of Tyndall and Moss. As Brock now goes with a 19.470. Gap between him and Mosby, still about 0.6 of a second. Some really, really good close racing in these early stages here, Steve. And that is one of the things here about Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It's a tough place to overtake that.
No, it's all about trying to keep it consistent. Derek Tyndall at the moment having to fight off Kurt Moss, Brian Zinn, and Roman Wyckoff is not too far behind. He's bringing Colin Woodsoe into the party. This is just for our Going Pros. If you take a look a little bit further back, Kenneth Ingersoll, who's so far been a very dominating factor in the mid-pack Larry's, is now trying to also put pressure onto the Going Pros ahead of him, but also he's got Corey Mitchell hunting him down and bringing a pack with. So for Kenneth, he can't be fouled up. He can't play nice. He needs to try and get past Roman as quick as possible to try and put some spacing between himself and the second place of the mid-pack Barry's Mitchell.
Yeah, next week we go to a we go to another roller coaster. Starting to Brands Hatch, just outside of Maidstone in Kent, in the southeast of the UK, and has seen the likes of Porsche Challenge and Carrera Cup GB. Part of the calendar. Ryan Finn holding on. Kevin Hughes chasing it down. Not a bad damn hand on. We've both had the pleasure working alongside him in the top here at Racing Exodus, but Kevin Hughes is finding that Connor Winslow, 704 motorsport vehicle, trying to chase it down the gap. I think that is about 4 tenths as they go downhill. They've got to watch out for this very fast. Left hand here at turn 5, just taking too much curve. Finds himself pinballing other side of the barriers, and that could thereby end your race. But still, Michael Scott, last 2 laps, has averaged a low 1 minute 19.5 as Kevin Hughes nearly gets the tag up the rear bump and going to turn 6. Now from turn 7, now it's long on, and this is where we see the increase. Joao Gabriel, Alex Ekholm, seeing north around about 107 miles an hour, top speed recorded through the trap, as Lemke has got through on Matt Mosby for second position. So number 41, one of the many members of Sky Lounge Motorsport up the grid. Look at this, Michael Brock has got away. He's 2.25 seconds up the road, too fast the lap, and Mosby looking left, looking right, trying to see if he squeezed his nose up the inside of the number 41 at turn 1, but unfortunately he's unable to get past Lemke.
It seems like he's a lot stronger in Sector 3, just not able to get the run out in Sector 2 and Sector 1 to try and close up that distance. And that's where we're getting to see quite a few of the drivers actually running into that very same problem. Can close up on the back end of the section, but just have a bit of a difficult time. Much like what Joseph Meyer over here is starting to have. Can close down on Corey Mitchell ahead of him, but just is backward to try and hold back Ryan Ryder, who's going and chasing him down. Ryan Ryder hoping to stay in for the fight, doing everything he can in the Pink Pig to try and see if he can move up through the order. And these drivers, despite being in different classes, overall track positioning is key, especially on a circuit like this, where you don't want to become a back marker, you don't want to be the friendliest guy in the field, you want to hold your racing line the whole way through. And we do have a couple of drivers that have been suffering that's lost out a few positions. One of them is Stan Hammonds, who's down 10 positions and now needing to pick up the pieces. One of our hardest charges, though, is John Ogdio, who sits now up 12 positions from where he started. Started out in 28th.
He's currently he's currently
He's up 11 positions from where he started in his own class 12 overall. So he was right at the back of this 42 car grid and continues to just chip away and try and get some pace underneath.
Yeah, one of the biggest losers is the number 55, Stan Hammond. Started on the outside of row number 11 and is down 10 spots into 33rd at the minute. He's lost another position to Tino Renee. And look, there we go. The Pretty Bean, number 048. Wonderful to see the liveries come alive here at the Apex Porsche Cup here on Tuesday night. Thank you so much for everyone bearing with us, because we did have some tech issues yesterday, earlier on this morning if you're in South Africa or the United Kingdom, where our respective global broadcast centres are based here this week. But Lemke, a little bit deep into turn 10A, and this could give Matt Mosby the run he needs. Mosby to the inside, down the hill out of turn 11. Lemke has to give space, and Mosby threads high as the needle with a beautiful overtake. That is excellent through turn 12. Can he do the crisscross and cover off Ryan Lemke through turn 1? The answer is yes. Lemke just brings in that little bit of additional momentum and rotational mass through turn 1 towards the outside. But Mosby now knows he's got clear air between himself and current race leader, Mike Scott, who is now 3 seconds up the road. Incredible what we're seeing here under the nighttime sky here in Georgia. A wonderful circuit, and there is Mr. Lego himself, formerly Big Big, last team in Matt Barry, Matt Peterson. Not anything in front of him this season here in season 28, but he's chasing down the Jägermeister Special Edition of the 911 of Oz Exelu, who's got Justin Aitchison in the baby blue car right in front of him in the 175. And then you've got Corey Mitchell in the street up ahead. So this will be a big battle. There's been an after here in the background. Spencer Mark and Wild Gabriel have gone off the circuit, and there is what is the premise of it.
Unfortunately, getting a little bit of a ding on the drive, and now has to try and get it sorted out. These drivers do have a little bit of fast repair they can lean on to get in and out through the pits. But it's not over yet. It's all about planning now, because we haven't spoken much about the pit lane and how much carnage it can cause. Especially here about Ride Atlanta. It's cold, it's dark. Do you really want to switch out tyres that you've just got up to temperature? Or are you going to bear with it and get yourself across the line with the same set of boots that you started with? At the moment, when you're in a big pack like Corey Mitchell is right now, with Zach Peterson and Oz on the back of him, it's going to be who pulls the trigger first to make it happen. At the moment, this is the question of, right, how far can I hold the line, how far I can go, maybe worth going and swapping over positions and just getting pulled along by the competitors to save that one little bit of fuel. It's Corey trying to go for the undercuts on the Lego.
Yeah, it's going to be not far. It's not going to be that easy for these drivers, because they're going to it could be 3 wide down the back straightaway. Zach Peterson has got a car length ahead of both Exelu and Mitchell, and Mr. Lego himself, as the Harlequin Lego, is going to make it through ahead of the pair behind, as Michael Brock extends his lead to 3.4 seconds and puts in a new fastest lap of the race, so 1 minute 19.039. Mosby puts in a personal best of a low 19.3, Lemke a mid 19.5, but we still have 2.5 minutes to go until 1/3 of the timer has counted down. But look at Exelu closing in. There's John Monsalve closing in the man in Grello from Manti, the livery currently used by 2024 DTM champion Thomas Pining at Manti Racing. And look at this, the yellow submarine is about to make its way past Grello. Monsalve to the inside, and Ken Kruger has to open up the steering through turn 6 and thereby releases Monsalve, who's trying to make hay whilst the night time floods the circuit. John Agudelo now up 15 positions and is also now running P25 overall, P4 in the mid-pack. Larry's is once again Monsalve trying to get away from Kent Kruger, who's keeping him in earshot. Monsalve closing in quickly on Mitchell and Eckholt. They're battling away over what is 18th overall, a little bit further down the order when it comes to the going pros. Mitchell flies his way in the Monster White Ultra Edition Road to Redemption car. Nearly gets a tag from behind. Monsalve had to check up and throw the anchors out of the back of the 992 Cup car. Is he going to head down the hill? Bit of a bump over the curbing. Misstep there by Mitchell. Monsalve all over his rear wing like a rash.
He's going for that 3rd place, and you know you got to go for it. Over the curbs, really going and testing the suspension. Now, the Porsche is very forgiving over the curbs if you hit it right. Problem is, you do lose out drive immediately. Monsalve going and having to defend the likes of Ken Kruger, attacking him on that. It's always one to be so cautious about. If you're going in for the attack, and you're going to utilize the curbs, you need to make sure your steering is straight. The moment it's turned at an angle, that's when you're going to get the bounce, you're going to get the slide, and unfortunately throw down the order, as we do see a fight up. Mark Miller, Derek Tyndall, and Kurt Moss all fighting one another, and this is turning into a monstrous race at the moment, with Mark Miller just not finding his line.
No, the Mobil 1 Porsche gets mugged by Kurt Moss. Jesse Mia not too far behind, about 3/10 off. Then you've got the likes of Brian Zinn, Kevin Chu, Colin Winslow, Kenneth Ingersoll, Roman Bykov, Matt Schlosser rounding out the top 13. Matt Schlosser. Oh, what a big moment! Big moment. Cope Brown clean up on aisle 3 for Kurt Moss. He loses the back end, and he just about keeps it out of the barriers. Well held by him. As to the inside, here goes the 704. Colin Winslow dive bombs up the inside, and it's causing dramas. Big dramas. There's Roman Bykov with the bus line gear to Infinity and Bykov tribute edition band. Did you like how the fact that his surname just slips into that segue so nicely, doesn't it?
Definitely one to keep an eye out for, and there will be words on the radio, that is for sure, on a move like that. But the question is, Colin saw the gap, went for it, and also with a huge mob around him, decided, nah, got to get a hard push here. Every single one of these drivers are fighting out for the podium. They're trying to see how far up the road they can go to ultimately score enough points and possibly to go and catch Michael Brook. At the moment, 13 seconds of going up through and managing to break away from Matt Mosby every which way possible. I mean, this is just looking at about 3 seconds, but Matt Mosby trying his absolute best with Michael Brook, trying to break away. You kind of wonder how many anchors you need to put in this car, but he's trying to get around some back markers that may change the championship for him.
Yeah, well, Michael Brock, the defending season 27 Going Pros champion, looking to extend his lead in the championship, because coming into this, he was only a single point behind Kevin Ju. Kevin Ju now looking on the Mobil 1 car, the 120 of Mark Miller. Ju to the outside. This is a brave place to put it, but it's going to set him up nicely for turn 10A at over 160 miles an hour. Kevin Ju, the man from St. Kitts and Nevis, neatly on the curbing through turn 10A, turn 10B, over the rise, down the hill, and he's already got a 2-car advantage over the number 120 of Mark Miller. Also saw some dramas in the background as well. I think there's been some drivers that have really been up against it. Looks like we've got a few drivers that have called time. Tony Wallace, Matt Bond, Ken Pepin, Kenton Bandy has had a few dramas. John Agadello has dropped down the order. He was 25th. He's now down to 33rd position overall, so just off the timing town you can see. But there we go. And he's lost another position to Joe Mayer. It is change afoot here for this 4th round, as there is Matt Schlosser, one of our friends here at Race and Nexus, always likes to do a bit of circuit racing, along with the likes of the Special Stage Pro Trucks, which will be coming up on July the 11th at around about 9 PM Eastern for season 13, week 1, Brandon and Navarra for the Pro Trucks. For season 13, so good to have them back. Also, we've got the return in the next few weeks of the HBR GT World Challenge at IMSA Series back here. So Thursday nights will be for the for season 6 of IMSA, and then Thursday nights will be, well, Sunday nights will be season 10 of the GT World Challenge. More great prizes up for grabs as Aitchison and Peterson battling away. This is for 14th and 15th, respectively, and a big slide from Justin Aitchison. Zach Peterson to the outside. Can he get through? Yes, he does. He does the old Slim Shady round the outside, because Aitchison, how on earth he kept that car from swapping axles, I do not know, through turn 12 there, Steve, but well out.
Aitchison in the middle of a fight that he doesn't want to be in, considering it is two going pros that he's fighting with, and it's just getting a little bit more room away from Kenneth at the moment. So he's trying his utmost best to see how far he can move, just surely do something to try and move forward. But unfortunately, when you're getting into these type of fights, got to expect that you're going to lose time to the crucial competitors up ahead. Still wonderful to see how many fights still inactive as we take a look at Roman Bokov, who's trying to give a good shot at Colin Winslow, under braking, trying to get it done, looks for the undercut, and may have been getting a bit of track limits picking up, going across the grass a little too tight there, as it's a very fine line to get it all sorted out, but a constant battle. Colin Winslow leads out this little train, but it is starting to become a bit of a bigger problem as Roman down the inside gets on the power, trying to see what he can do, just couldn't make it work into turn 3.
Yeah, so the Buzz Lightyear Tribute Brigade carries on. Of course, last year in season 27, last time out in season 27, he was running Paul's light Aston Martin Vantage GT4. Brian's in. Oh, that was a little bit of a run wide there by Colin Winslow. That's given Bykov the opportunity to slingshot pass around the outside in towards turn 6. And the number 013 gets back through on the number 704 car. Brian's in is there. And Brian's in has been quite fortunate in opportunities when they presented themselves, but he's got Matt Schlosser to his outside. And Schlosser is going to thread the eye of the needle. He's going to look to the inside of this kink down the hill. It's nearly going to be a 3-1 exchange, but it's more going to be Noah's Ark style. 2x2, hurrah, they go. Bykov ahead of Schlosser. Schlosser to the outside, who's got the inside line perfectly, bumps over the curbing. Can he make the run through turn 11? Not quite, but well done by Matt Schlosser to really use his off-road trucks knowledge to use a little bit of that curbing and the bounciness of the car through the damper rebound, meaning that he is now up to P8 as we're starting to see the first few pit stops. Kevin Zhu is in the pit lane, and that's one of the things, and he's just about on the halfway point of this race as we have 23 minutes to go, and he now rejoins and just outside of the top 20. So Kevin Zhu going for a longer, well, going for pretty much a 50-50 in terms of the time counting down here, Steve. But what a battle we've got here. Schlosser, Zinn, Bykov, Winslow, Ingersoll, the mid-pack Larry's leader, who's looking to extend his lead in the series, is running in P11 and is 3/10 off being in the top 10. So the developments here at Road Atlanta are many, and more to the point, it's frantic.
And I think we're not going to see the end of it just as yet. Everyone's still trying to push to make up some ground in the championship, and ultimately in this race, trying to push a little bit harder, but really listening onto the radios though. Colin Winslow said that he was going to pit. He gave a little bit of insight to the rest and said, look, I'm going to pit. Playing a little bit of a friendlier game, just letting him know when he's going to be diving into the pits now. Is this going to work out in his favour by just giving that little bit of crucial information to the drivers, or is it a little bit of pain to the head? And this is what I've been hearing on the comms. Some have been informing when they're going to the pits and say, I'm going into the pit. Suddenly they don't go. Others take up that offer and say, yes, I'm going into the pit. Much like Oz is at the moment. He's had Justin constantly saying, I'm going to go into the pit. I'm going to go into the pit. And so far, hasn't gone into the pit. And Oz has been sitting, waiting for that darn pit stop to arrive.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all when the mind game's going in, when they've got the open radio on iRacing. There's always that kind of mind games. There's a bit of a mistake there by Justin Aitchison. Oz Exelu in the Jägermeister orange car gets through, so the 911. But there has been a change. Oh, right. Michael Brock has lost big time, and we have a new race leader, and that is Matt Mosby. Matt Mosby is way up the road. Michael Brock, what has happened? Well, right, just a little bit of a glitch on the replay, it looks like. But no, Michael Brock is now closing in on, that's going to be Paul Bailey in the 569 car. But Matt Mosby has been chasing him down, so Michael Brock has still been leading for 25 minutes. And we've seen the season 27 Going Pros champion be rather unflappable unless you bring DJ Alessandrini into the mix. And as always, the man that flirts with coming back for appearances here or there as we are heading. There we see the wonderful sign of Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, in the deep of night as we are 20 minutes to go. And Michael Brock, when will he pull the trigger and jump into the pit lane in the 421 Mountain Dew Baja Blast car? Good to see that Mountain Dew Baja Blast has actually arrived at Taco Bell restaurants in the UK as of this week. Now that's something a bit random there, and that's got me thinking about food. I haven't had food yet this morning. So, nevertheless, Matt Schlosser trying to close in on Brian Zinn. He's not a bad dab hand behind the microphone either, as we both had the pleasure of working with him, Steve.
Brian also a very, very fierce competitor that knows how to make the car extremely wide. We've seen it during the course of the season, especially if you put him into a prototype. The whole team is a little bit more of a difficult one to get by. But that being said, he's sitting in 7th place at the moment with quite a bit of gap to most cars around him. Matt, however, has got a little bit more trouble as he's getting pushed on by Kenneth. He's saying, come on, let's go. We need to try and make up a bit of headway here, especially since he hasn't done his pit stop as yet. 69 car hoping to really get a little bit of a hurry on. And don't count out Ryan Ryder, who's also had his fair share of proper goes towards the sharp end of the field. Ultimately, this is going to be a fight and a half to get done. Every single one of these drivers are just chomping for the Kenneth at that moment. How he is not a going pro right now, I can't tell, because running 9th overall and taking the front to the front end of this, you are most certainly a pro.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Zach Peterson last season, as we're going to see some pit stops. Mark Miller, Matt Schlosser, Ryan Ryder, Corey Mitchell, Kent Kruger. A lot of them are starting to come in as we're getting towards the tail end of this race. So Miller is in, Schlosser, Ryder, Exelu, they're all starting to filter in. But Brian's in, closing in on Jesse Mia, the 172, who has had a difficult start to the first first third of this season. We're already at the quarter of a way through this 12-round calendar. And what a calendar it is here for season 28. And that's what I love about this, that on a Tuesday, these drivers go in there, race hard for 45 minutes, and the good thing about communities is there's always plenty of banter. There's always, if someone has a bit of a moment, as we ride on board, driver eye view with Brian Zinn, and this is going to be heading down into turn 10A, and an indicated 265 kilometers an hour, which is around about 165 mph in 6th gear as Mia pits. Lemke's pitted, Tyndall's pitted, Mia is pitted. I think there's been a bit of a drama though. Michael Brock. What has happened to Michael Brock? He's lost the lead. Michael Brock has done a mistake, and Matt Mosby is now the new race leader. Big development at the sharp end of the field. Michael Brock having a misstep, and that is uncharacteristic of the season 27 Going Pros champion.
It's just a way to try and grab that replay and find out what exactly happened. But now Michael Brock is going to have to fight back and do everything he can to just get that pass back. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare run for him to just try and see what he can do in this fight. Michael Brock, however, looks like he just went and possibly put a wheel off track, and that was all she needed to get done and dusted. Now Mosby opens up a huge lead, and will continue once again to have a solid run. Ryan's in up into the place. Mosby now trying to get his way through, and everyone's going to now need to focus on what is their pit stops going to look like. Corey Mitchell carrying up the pace into 5th overall, and first of the mid-pack Larry's doing a phenomenal job. Well, Kenneth lies all the way down in 12th, and he is in a gunfight with Stan Hammonds, Ryan Ryder, and Christopher Lund all over the back of him, and Aaron Sunday trying to also get into the back of these lots. So Kenneth gone from running away and hassling the pros. Well, it looks like it's all come back to roost against him. Stan Hammonds going to be giving him a bit of a hard push. And Kenneth getting that little bit of a bump draft, now stuck to the inside line, down the hill. It's going into a left-hander. It's going to be hard on the brakes to get it done and dusted, as Michael Brook does retake the lead. But take a look at Kenneth trying to hold it around the outside. Just couldn't get the drive. Stan Hammonds lives again.
Yeah, but keep your eyes on Ingersoll. He was sweeping wide, but he's got Ryan Ryder in the 181 Pink Pig Porsche right behind him. Ryder to the inside here at turn number 1. Is he going to carry the speed through? No, Ingersoll does a number on him. Keeps the steering open, keeps it to the left-hand side of turn number 1, and manages to keep a hold of that spot. Oh, we've got just under 15 minutes to go, and someone has set off the July 4th fireworks a little bit later than planned, but it's been worth the wait here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. And look at this, Kenneth Ingersoll pebble dashing the gravel that's been stricken coming out of turn 5 right into the windshield of Ryan Ryder, who's all over the back of him as they we run on board with Ryan Ryder out of turn 7. Now hard on the power, 100 miles an hour, 3rd gear up to 4th. Now coming up to 130 mph. Make that 140 now. 150. Getting closer and closer to 160 plus miles an hour. Ryan Ryder in the slipstream, he pushes it to the inside here at turn 10A, and he is through. Great job there by Ryan Ryder, taking mid-pack Larry's leader for 12th position through turn 10A. That was a nicely judged move. Use the slipstream as perfect as you can try down here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. But still, well, Brock and Mosby, they've both come into the pits. But of course, we have seen one misstep by Michael Brock, and that was just before going into the pit lane. They've both pitted, so now it is a flat-out sprint to the checkered. Brian's in, and Jesse Mia are battling away over P7 overall. So at the minute, with the way things stand, Ingersoll still leads the mid-pack Larrys. He might be P13 overall. Justin Aitchison runs 18th in his second in class, with John Monsalve in the 505 yellow submarine theme that continues from the 570S McLaren he ran in Apex's GT4 season 27 to Apex's season 28 Porsche Cup. And you can't exactly miss that car, to be honest with you. If you had Google Maps on Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta right now, you'd see his car an absolute mile off. As Aaron Sunday, Our House No Drama number 331, has ended up going off the circuit, and he's managed to rejoin. Here's Derek Tyndall in the number 42 car. He's 2.7 seconds off of Brian Lemke, as someone else has had a bit of a misstep going through into, I think, oh, that's Colin Winslow's had a drama. Stan Hammonds has decided to pit, so it's all flotsam and jetsam here at Road Atlanta for this 4th round out of 12. But Mosby, again, is starting to close that gap onto Michael Brock, as we see Roman Bykov bumping and jumping his way. It's like a hop, skip and a jump for the 013 Toy Story Buzz Lightyear edition car. And he's got Kurt Moss, the recovering Kurt Moss, who had that big drama earlier on in the race where we saw him spin out at turn number 2. A few more drivers in the pit lane. Colin Winslow has been in there for quite well for a little bit, but please just ignore the live timing. We're keeping an eye on the action as it stands. And Steve, we've got just over 11 minutes to go until the checkered. Michael Brock at the minute does still have a 1.1 second lead over Matt Mosby, but we've seen a misstep, a chink in the armour, which is very rare for Michael Brock after how successful he was last season. And to pick up a title is easy, but to defend it, you've got double the pressure on your shoulders.
You've just got to try and figure out what you can do to make it work. Ultimately, also, you've got to remember the sharp end of the field are not only just battling against themselves, as we see Jesse and Matt having a go at one another, they also cycling through some of the back markers that have had problems during the course of this race as well. And that's going to change things up. Kenneth Ingersoll, he's back onto the fight with Roman Bycroft. And once again, Roman pushing his way through right over the curb. You see him jacking up that left-hand side, just trying to bounce the car up forward and see what he can do to keep it going.
Oh, 3 wide. Oh, 3 wide, and stuck in the middle was Aaron Sunday in the Proton Dempsey competition car. And oh no, Zach Peterson's around. Oh, disaster for the Harlequin Lego 116, and he's towed it straight away. He might have picked up damage with just under 10 minutes to go. The hits, they keep on coming here at Road Atlanta. But for Aaron Sunday to find himself piggy in the middle in the 331 car, love that Proton Dempsey competition livery. Back from the old GTE days of the FIA World Endurance Championship. But Brian's in, starting to pull away from Jesse Mia, who's got a little bit of an advantage over him. And Mia's got Matt Schlosser, who's done a really good job today in the number 400 car. He's up 5 spots already. I'll make that 4 spots because when you can see that we've got the light. Now look at this. I have to say, Matt Mosby has been clawing, well, he's not just been clawing those inches back to Michael Brock. He's been clawing a good tenth and a bit or so per sector, and he's got that gap to under a second, and with just under 9 minutes to go. I think the pressure is going to be more on the shoulders of Michael Brock because it's his race to lose. Matt Mosby's like thinking as, oh dear, Jesse Mia through turn 7. Oh, that was not what he wanted. I think a little bit over-eager on the throttle, just went a little bit too early, rotated the back end of the car. I think he's having dramas again. Jesse Mia dropping like a stone at the moment in the pond.
Well, he caught Kurt Moss on the way through as well. Just caught it. That is Jesse Mia. Clipped the dirt in the background and caught Kurt Moss, putting them both into the wall and retiring out of the race.
Oh, that's a real shame. Kurt Moss has been insult to injury. Pride might be stinging a little bit after that, but more to the point, there are battles every which way you look here at Road Atlanta. Stan Hammonds trying to close in on Spencer Beaudoir and the 010 Golf livery Porsche. And it's Stan. Oi, 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 oi. How quickly and how close do you want to thread the eye of the needle, Stan Hammonds, as he gets through on Spencer Beaudoir. And I think that was another 3-1 exchange involving Aaron Sunday. He's like thinking, what on God's green earth is happening here? And it's not going to be an easy one for him. Meantime, Joao Gabriel, man from Brazil, in the 591, is having a better run this time around. Currently running P16 at the minute, so just about 1.6 seconds behind. He's actually in P15, but Joao Gabriel, P5 in the mid-pack Larrys at the moment, doing a stellar job. Spencer Beaudoir has got Stan Hammonds, and these two have been, let's just say, closely joined at the bumpers here, Steve. It's not been an easy one for some of our drivers because they're still getting to grips with these 520 horsepower cars.
Getting some argy-bargy moments. Spencer trying to catch up to Gabriel, doing everything he can. And it's going to be a drag race down. Jarl hoping to see Stan Hammonds away. Stan once again very, very brave, underbraking down the hill. He's more than capable to hold it. The question is, he goes and forces his competitors out wide. Are they going to return the favour? Well, Spencer, on the other hand, just goes and picks up a little bit of grass.
That's going to give him a slowdown off-track penalty. He did the customary grassy joker lap coming out of turn number 12, but he had no, he's carrying so much speed down the hill from turn 11. Joao Gabriel now closing in, and he's with Corey Mitchell. Meantime, looking at the front end of the field, Matt Mosby has really got that gap down. And Michael Brock had a shocker of a previous lap, a 1 minute 20.033. Matt Mosby was about 4.5 tenths quicker or nearly 5.5 tenths quicker on that previous tour. Look, there they are, the top two, coming down the hill through the S's at turns 3 and 4. Michael Brock's going to make sure that turn 5 does not become his nemesis. Bumps over the curbing. And through turn 5 they go now. Nice and neat exit from both drivers. But this is where I think Michael Brock has been under the biggest pressure so far this season. Matt Mosby started on the outside of row number 2 when we went green just 40 minutes ago. And with them doing 1:20s, we're probably looking at maybe an additional 3 laps, including this one right here, before we hit the checkered flag. As down the back stretch go our 2 leaders. Mosby now getting that slipstream for the 421. Mountain Dew Baja Blast machine of Michael Brock. Down the hill, gap now less than 3 tenths into the braking zone here for the left-right complex at turns 10A and 10B. And Michael Brock has got to be very, very careful to see if there is any backmarker traffic up ahead. And that could be the case. They have got a couple of cars. The next one is going to be John Agudelo, up 18 places, started on the outside of row number 20 in 40th spot. But Mosby has got the bit between his teeth as John Agudelo's gone off the track, and he might have just tangled with the barrier. That was coming over the crest, heading towards turn 2. But Mosby, I think, really now has a wicked opportunity with 4 minutes to go to put the real pressure on Michael Brock. Brock has just got to bring it home where he is right now, and that will be his 3rd win of the series. But Mosby looking for his first in the Going Pros here in season 28.
It's going to be a bit of a mad drive to the end. Next up, they've got Keegan Garrick to try and get past, and that is for 3 seconds up the road. And we could see Matt Mosby quickly flashing those lights, just letting the drivers know, listen, I'm coming to you, but also trying to get in the head of Michael Brock, doing everything he can to just try and cycle in. And running so far in 3rd, 7 seconds behind, is Brian Limpike, who is once again having a great time out on the circuit. Kenneth Ingersoll leading out the mid-pack Larrys with Justin Atchison and John Winslave going and rounding out the top 3. But it's Matt Mosby who sets the fastest lap time. And you spoke about how he's on the button to go for it. Well, one way of doing it, 118.94. Quick slap between the two. And now Michael Brook under some serious pressure. And they've got back markers coming up. Literally 0.2 as he tries to carve the way around. Snaking your way through. This is going to kill your drive.
Yeah, Keegan Gearig in the 640 right up ahead as they exit out of turn number 5. As Matt Mosby is the first driver, the only driver in this race to go a sub 1:19. And here comes the move. Mosby's looking for it, 3 wide, and Mosby gets through for the race lead. It was all down to Michael Brock needing to expedite his way past Keegan Gearig, and that has just cost him, I think, probably with this and 2 laps to go. Mosby found the run, and he's taken advantage, and he's opened up a half-second lead. Down the back stretch they go, through into turn 9, down the dip. And you can see why they say that Road Atlanta is a roller coaster. They mean it. Into turn 10A. And now Michael Brock has got to see if he can put the same situation into his watching brief and get through. 2 laps to go here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for week 4 out of 12. And now it's mano a mano. It's a duel between Mosby and Brock as they go up the hill here on what will be lap number 33 out of 34 laps. Next time around we will have the white flag as Brock is trying to do everything he can and in his power to keep pushing on, but with that slight held up moment by Keegan Gearig, and Gearig did exactly the right thing. He kept it on the racing line. Michael Brock could not find a safe way past, and Matt Mosby took complete advantage of the situation through turn 7 for the penultimate time as we got Brian Zinn closing in on the 120 Mobile 1 Porsche car of Mark Miller. That is the battle for P6 overall, and Zinn gets a really good run out of turn number 5. But you have to say that if you want to talk about Adam Copeland from AEW, the ultimate opportunist, well, if you want to say that about someone in this league, you have to say it's going to be Matt Mosby, because we're very shortly going on to the white flag lap Down the hill we go. White flag in the air, and it's Mosby versus Brock. Lebke 6.8 seconds behind, and Brock is going to get that slingshot up the hill. 0.3 of a second as they go through into turn one. Up the hill for the final time. And oh, did I just hear a rotation? Yes, I did! Oh, Brock has spun it! Brock has spun it on the final lap of the race. And that is going to mean he's going to have to wait. Lemke gets through for P2. Kevin Shue's going to get third. Oh, disaster. Right when he did not need it at the wrong place. Wrong time. Michael Brock has a shocker on the last lap here at Road Atlanta. And as I said, if you overdrive that car, you know, it's woe betide the boy, the words of Billy Connolly. He did not need that at all. But meantime, Mosby's not got that far of a lap left to go. But what a disaster for the defending champion. He was on course for win number 3. A mistake, being compromised through back marker traffic. And what it's done is Matt Mosby is not that far away. Let's see if we can catch up with our race leader now, because there's Kevin Shue. But Matt Mosby will become our third different race winner of season 28. Mosby with a blinder here at Road Atlanta. He wins week 4 under the nighttime Georgia sky.
And we've got Brian coming across the line. Will take that second place ahead, but it's a battle for third, and it looks like Kevin managing to get ahead because Derek lost it through the final corner and loses it to Michael Brook at the line. Michael Brook scored a third as Derek lost it in the final corner.
Well, Kevin Shue actually took P3 because he was right behind Derek Tyndall. Tyndall loses it coming out of turn 11 and turn 12. Brock hits the wall across the line and damages the left side of the vehicle. Kenneth Ingersoll once again. I cannot believe it. Kenneth Ingersoll is really doing a number on the mid-pack Larrys and picks up his third win of the series. Oh, Kenneth Ingersoll is probably trying to do I would say probably more than likely, I'm trying to remember the name of the driver now. Zach Peterson from last season. John Monsalve takes P3 behind by Justin Aitchison. But what can you say about Road Atlanta here, Steve? We've had action under the nighttime sky. We've had great racing. We've had dramas. We've had spin-outs. And we've also had dramas on the last lap of the race. This has been by far the most exciting Apex This Porsche Cup race so far on only week 4 out of 12.
Well, it was absolutely wonderful, and a couple of drivers going and suffering with, well, running out of fuel being the case. But what a drive. What an incredible race evening. And our drivers really had to think outside the box of what they can do to stay at the sharp end of the field. But with that being said, let's take a look at the results after such an incredible race.
So first of all, let's have a look at the going pro, it's going to be the mid-pack Larrys. Kenneth Ingersoll takes the win ahead of Justin Aitchison by nearly 11.5 seconds, with John Monsalve rounding out the top 3. Joao Gabriel, best result for him this season, puts the Brazilian P4 ahead of Jake Harrican. Kent Kruger in Grello takes P6 ahead of Corey Mitchell with Chris Laum, Keegan Gehrig, Tina Renee, John Agudelo rounding out the top 11 with Kenton Bandy, Harrison Meady, Paul Bailey, Dylan Foster and Aaron Sunday rounding out the top 16. But Matt Mosby becomes the third different race winner in the going pro side of things, finishing ahead of Brian Lemke by 9 seconds. Mosby only led 4 laps. Kevin Shue rounds out the top 3, the man from St. Kitts and Nevis, ahead of Michael Brock, who did dodge a bullet on turn 1 last lap, but dodged a bullet last corner, last lap, because he managed to pick up 4 ahead of Derek Tyndall, who spun coming down the hill for the final time. Brian Zinn, Mark Miller, Matt Schlosser rounding out the top 8, with Ryan Ryder and Oz Exelu rounding out the top 10 overall, top 10 in the class. Ryan Ryder making up 10 places. It's a far cry from when Ryan joined us back in season 26 and was was the butt of all my jokes going into Mosport, but he's really made good account of himself. Stan Hammond, Spencer Beaudoir, Roman Bykov, Kurt Moss, Jesse Meir, and Zach Peterson round out the top 16. But what does that mean for the championship standings? Well, I can tell you, folks, that Kenneth Ingersoll now opens up an 11-point lead over Keegan Gehrig, with Kent Kruger just a further point behind, rounding out the top 3 in the mid-pack Larrys, with Chris Lahm and Sean Teeter, who was the runner-up last season, rounding out the top 5. Kevin Zhu still has a 1-point lead over Michael Brock, with Mark Miller now up into P3 ahead of Derek Tyndall, with Matt Mosby now rounding out the top 5 after what is his first win of the season. Brian Zinn, Colin Winslow, Ryan Ryder, Spencer Beaudoir, and Jeremy Littleton rounding out the top 10. But before we close things off here at Apex this, firstly, we want to say a big thank you to you out there, because we have officially hit 1,000 subscribers. A big thank you to you all that have been on the journey with us here at Racer Nexus. And please, if you haven't already, a little click from you to like, share, and subscribe would mean the world to us. Coming up here on Racer Nexus will be round 2 at Road America of the, it will be the Endurance Racing Alliance GR86 Cup at Road America. Special stage. Pro Trucks makes a return with Season 13, Week 1 at Crandon and Navarra. Apex this will be at the back end of this week, along with the likes of the FMA Gen 4 Series. FMA along with that, FMA will also have the World Endurance Championship Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And Apex this Mazda Cup Season 28 will also head to these hallowed grounds here in Georgia. Before we sign off here, Steve, what a crazy race, because what have we got next week? Brands Hatch in the Garden of England. I cannot wait. Another difficult roller coaster circuit, 2.5 miles long. One of the venues that hosts the GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, for a sprint round every season. It is going to test them even more than Road Atlanta has done today.
I've got to say, I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's one of my personal favorite circuits to go around, especially in single-seaters and very small sports cars. It is a circuit that really looks easy until you try and go flat out around it. And, I mean, you go and take it. It's why the Formula Ford Festival is held there every single year, to show off some of the best. But with that being said, tonight's race has been exciting. And we'd also like to say a special thank you to everyone out in the virtual grandstands, going and just being patient, as we did run into technical difficulties with this one. But you guys still coming back and being part of the show is always fantastic to see. And on behalf of the entire Races Nexus team, we'd like to say thank you very much on that. Also to our sponsors, Apex Sim Racing, Track Cams for Gourmet, and Apex This, and also our Racer Nexus. And from hitting a subscriber note of 1,000 subscribers, thank you from the bottom of all our hearts. And we're looking forward to an absolutely incredible one. As next up, we aim for 1,500. And that is my goal. That is what we're going to do right here.
So, on behalf of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Steve Kurdick alongside me up here in the Global Broadcast Centre, it is goodbye, Road Atlanta, and we'll say hello. Welcome to Brands Hatch for Week 5 of the Apex This Porsche Cup Championship here on Racer Nexus every Tuesday night. Don't forget, you've seen what's coming up on the schedule. And don't forget to hit that notification bell whilst you're at it. We will see you in the Garden of England at Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit for Week 5 in 7 days' time. Until then, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time.